Now to Sean Diddy Combs' investigation. New surveillance video shows Combs being taken into custody in a Manhattan hotel last week.
Today we're diving into the wildest twists in hip-hop history. Suge Knight just dropped some major heat on Diddy's recent arrest, hinting at a long-standing feud, dark secrets, and some dangerous consequences from their past. Diddy's got serious legal trouble, and Suge's not holding back. He's warning Diddy about what's coming, saying he might not have much time left. We're breaking down the East Coast-West Coast rivalry, karma catching up, and why celebs are distancing themselves from Diddy fast. Stay locked in. You don't want to miss this. Suge Knight's concerns. First off, Suge Knight ain't holding back. He expressed his concern for Diddy's kids, saying something like, "Hey man, you better watch out for your family in all this chaos." That's a heavy statement, right? I mean, we all know Suge's not the type to give out hugs, but it's wild to hear him show a bit of humanity in the midst of all this mess. But is it genuine concern, or is he just stirring the pot? Why would Suge Knight, of all people, care about Diddy's kids? It's all about the history, baby. These two have been in a long-standing feud, but at the end of the day, they both have families. Suge knows the stakes in this game, and maybe there's a part of him that sees the bigger picture. After all, the hip-hop world can be unforgiving, and he might be hinting that Diddy needs to watch his back, not just for himself, but for his kids too. Not only is Suge Knight jumping into this explosive saga, but Uncle Luke is making some shocking revelations, claiming Diddy has been consumed by drugs. Luke doesn't hold back, emphasizing the weight of Suge's allegations, even from behind bars, noting Suge is still connected to the outside world. He argues that inmates have a surprising network and can keep tabs on the happenings outside, suggesting that Suge's insights are rooted in a deep understanding of the situation. But it gets even darker. Luke dives into Suge's claim that Diddy's alleged drug use has spiraled out of control. A lot of my friends who know him closely say that he got consumed with the drugs, Luke shares, raising alarms about the potential impact on Diddy's mental state and decision-making. With both Suge and Luke weighing in, this isn't just gossip. It's a chilling commentary on the struggles of fame and the lengths people go to in the world of hip-hop. But let's not forget the stakes here. Diddy is facing serious legal trouble that could change his life forever. When we talk about sex trafficking and racketeering, we're not just dealing with some petty charges here. This is heavy-duty stuff, folks. Imagine waking up one day and finding yourself in the crosshairs of the law, knowing that your empire is built on shaky ground. Diddy's world, which seems so glamorous from the outside, is starting to look more like a house of cards. And now, with Suge Knight chiming in, it's only getting crazier. Suge's warning, a dangerous message. Suge didn't stop there, though. He dropped a major bombshell when he warned Diddy about imminent danger, suggesting that he doesn't have much time left. Whoa, talk about a scary statement. You can almost feel the tension through your screen, right? Now, Suge's warning isn't just a random threat. It reflects the ongoing rivalry between these two titans of hip-hop. This isn't just about a friendship gone wrong, it's a saga filled with unresolved conflicts that could have dire consequences. When Suge speaks, people listen, especially when he's throwing shade like this. And his interview to Billboard, Suge Knight ain't holding back when he throws down some serious words about Diddy's future in the slammer. He's basically saying that Diddy's gonna have a hell of a time behind bars because of his fame. Look, no matter who you are, prison's a straight-up hellhole. Suge spills. Someone could do something to him just to make a name for themselves, and trust, they might actually go for it. If they gotta prove themselves, you know they're gonna step up. Suge is not just dropping shade. He's got a point. But we gotta wise up, you feel me? Learn from our mess-ups. Not everything has to end in disaster. Life's about leveling up, but we all know what we signed up for in this game. Why does Suge Knight think Diddy is in danger? It goes back to their history. Suge and Diddy have had a complicated relationship filled with rivalry, competition, and yes, even violence. With Diddy's current legal troubles, Suge's warning suggests that the past could come back to haunt both of them. It's almost like a ghost from the past is lurking, ready to strike when least expected. And here's the kicker. With all the legal implications surrounding Diddy, one has to wonder just how deep this rabbit hole goes. Suge's comments open the door to speculation about whether Diddy's empire was built on solid ground or whether there are dark, twisted secrets lurking beneath the surface. What do these charges mean for Diddy? If convicted, Diddy could face significant prison time, which would completely shatter the image he has built over decades. But it also raises questions about the music industry as a whole. How many of these so-called big shots are involved in shady dealings? Diddy's empire might look all glitzy and glamorous, but it could be built on some very unethical foundations. You see, fame and power in the music industry often come with a dark side, and Diddy's situation sheds light on just how murky the waters can be. The kind of success he has achieved doesn't just happen without some skeletons in the closet. It's almost like the higher you climb, the more you have to lose, and the more dangerous it becomes. And while Suge Knight may seem like a villain in his own right, his warnings hint at the complexity of their relationship. Could it be that Suge sees himself in Diddy? Are they both products of the same brutal environment, fighting for survival in a world that can turn on you in an instant? But let's not get too caught up in the sympathy game. Suge Knight is not exactly known for being a saint. This is a man who has had his fair share of controversies, from violence to shady dealings. So why does he feel the need to throw Diddy under the bus now? Is Suge's warning a sign of concern or a chance to settle scores? It's probably a mix of both. Suge knows the dangerous nature of their history, and while he may be expressing concern for Diddy's kids, he's also seizing an opportunity to remind everyone of the stakes involved. The message is clear. In this game, you can't afford to be weak. Imagine for a second if Suge is right. What if Diddy really doesn't have much time left? The ramifications of that could be huge. It's almost like a plot twist in a movie where the villain suddenly becomes a victim. And who knows what kind of alliances or rivalries could resurface if things take a turn for the worse. This brings us back to the complexity of fame and the dangerous dance these artists perform. Diddy and Suge are both living proof that when you reach the top, it's not just champagne and celebrations, it's also a tightrope walk, where one misstep could send you plummeting down. As fans, we often romanticize the lives of these celebrities, imagining them living lavish lifestyles without a care in the world. But when you peel back the layers, you see a darker side, a world where reputations can crumble and alliances can shift in the blink of an eye. And let's not forget the legal ramifications. With Suge dropping hints about past grievances resurfacing, one has to wonder how many other artists are watching this unfold thinking, wow, I better keep my head down. The fear of being next on the chopping block is palpable. Could this situation spark a chain reaction among other celebrities? Absolutely. The music industry is all about perception, and if Diddy's empire starts to fall apart, it could create a domino effect. Other artists might start reevaluating their own relationships, wondering if they've been too cozy with the wrong people, or if they've overlooked warning signs. As we wrap this up, it's clear that Diddy's arrest and Suge Knight's comments are more than just a sensational headline. They serve as a reminder of the darker realities behind the glitz and glamour of the music industry. Diddy is facing serious charges that could lead to a reckoning, not just for him, but for everyone involved. And with Suge's ominous warnings about Diddy's safety and the implications of their long-standing rivalry, one thing is certain. The next few chapters in this saga are going to be nothing short of explosive. So, what do you think? Are Suge Knight's warnings just noise, or is there something more sinister brewing beneath the surface? Only time will tell, but one thing's for sure. This is one story that we'll be following closely. Don't forget to drop your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think about Diddy's situation? Is Suge's concern genuine, or is it just a power play? Let's get the conversation going. In a world where the beats drop hard and the stakes are even higher, the 90s hip-hop scene was a powder keg of talent and tension. But what happens when loyalty is tested by tragedy? Diddy found himself at the center of a storm when a close friend's shocking murder shattered his relationships and transformed the industry landscape forever. The soured relationship. In the 90s, the hip-hop scene was electric, but it was also dangerous. Diddy's relationship with his peers took a nosedive after a close friend was murdered. This was no ordinary event. It marked the turning point that soured friendships and escalated tensions within the industry. Now, imagine being in Diddy's shoes during that time. The pressure must have been immense. You're trying to build an empire while navigating a world where alliances can shift in a heartbeat. Diddy's world was becoming increasingly hostile, and every move he made was under scrutiny. According to Baller Alert, it all kicked off in the mid-90s when the East Coast and West Coast were going toe-to-toe. And trust me, it was a war zone out there. Suge was the big boss of Death Row Records, while Diddy was running the show over at Bad Boy Entertainment. You best believe they weren't just after fame. Their egos were on a collision course, and the sparks were flying. But it didn't stop there. Everything spiraled out of control in 1996, when Tupac Shakur, one of the biggest names in the game, was gunned down. The drama surrounding his murder only deepened the rift between Suge and Diddy, leaving fans and insiders speculating about who was really behind the scenes pulling the strings. Was there more to their rivalry than just business? The truth remains shrouded in mystery, but one thing's for sure. Tupac's death put a permanent stain on their already rocky relationship. How did this murder affect Diddy's relationships in the industry? Well, let's keep it real. When someone you know is murdered, it creates a ripple effect. It leads to suspicion, mistrust, and even blame. Diddy's past actions during the East Coast-West Coast rivalry still haunt him. People started questioning his loyalty, and in an industry where reputation is everything, that can be a death sentence. With so many talented artists vying for the top spot, Diddy was now seen as a potential enemy by some. It's a dangerous game when friendships are tested by the cold reality of street violence. This was just the beginning of a downward spiral that would follow Diddy for years to come. Now, let's take a step back and look at the broader picture, the infamous East Coast-West Coast rivalry. For those who might not know, this was a tumultuous time in hip-hop history, characterized by fierce competition and violent clashes. Diddy, representing the East Coast, found himself in a precarious position as tensions escalated. What role did Diddy play in this rivalry? Diddy was a key player in the East Coast scene, but his actions during this time were controversial. Many fans remember the lyrical battles and public feuds, but few realize how deeply personal and dangerous these rivalries became. With high stakes and egos on the line, Diddy's decisions led to heightened tensions, which, in hindsight, seemed to foreshadow the tragedy that would follow. The narrative of the East Coast-West Coast rivalry is riddled with violence and betrayal, and Diddy's name is woven into that fabric. The speculation surrounding his involvement in Tupac's murder adds another layer of complexity. When you're in the spotlight, even whispers can turn into roaring accusations. Fast forward to today, and Diddy is facing serious charges that could potentially dismantle his empire. As if that weren't enough, speculations have resurfaced about his connection to Tupac's murder and the alleged ties to corrupt law enforcement. Can you feel the tension? Why are these speculations so damaging for Diddy? Well, in the world of hip-hop, reputation is everything. If you're accused of being involved in something as heinous as murder, it can obliterate your career. The allegations against Diddy raise serious questions about his character and integrity, casting a long shadow over his accomplishments. And let's not forget the legal implications of these accusations. With his current troubles, every bit of negative press can impact how the public perceives him, and how other artists and celebrities view their relationships with him. The interconnectedness of the entertainment world means that Diddy's downfall could have repercussions that ripple through the entire industry. Diddy's relationships with various celebrities have been pivotal throughout his career, but now they're under the microscope. As legal troubles mount, how do you think other artists are reacting? But are artists distancing themselves from Diddy due to his legal issues? You bet. In an industry where alliances can change overnight, the fallout from Diddy's situation could be significant. Artists might feel the need to reassess their connections with him, especially if they want to maintain a clean image. It's like a game of musical chairs, and no one wants to be left standing next to someone who's facing serious allegations. Moreover, it's crucial to understand the historical context of Diddy's current situation. The past rivalry and its violent outcomes still loom large, and Diddy's current legal troubles are a stark reminder of how unresolved issues can come back to bite you. So what does all this mean for Diddy? His story is a cautionary tale of fame's darker side. When you reach the top, you've got a lot to lose, and every misstep can lead to catastrophic consequences. Is there a lesson to be learned from Diddy's experience? Answer: absolutely. Diddy's life shows us that in the pursuit of success, one must be aware of the pitfalls. The music industry is not just about talent, it's also about who you align yourself with. Unresolved rivalries and past actions can resurface when you least expect them, and sometimes the cost of fame is way too high. Let's talk about the fallout from this infamous rivalry. Diddy's actions didn't just affect him, they had a ripple effect throughout the hip-hop community. The East Coast-West Coast feud left scars that are still visible today. Many artists lost their lives and friendships were shattered. Diddy's legacy is intertwined with this tumultuous period, and now, with legal troubles looming, it feels like the past is catching up with him in a very real way. But what does this say about the music industry? It's a harsh reminder that the music industry is often a double-edged sword. You can achieve greatness, but you can also attract enemies. The pressure to maintain a certain image and reputation can lead artists down dangerous paths. For Diddy, it's a balancing act. He's got to navigate his current legal battles while also managing the public's perception of him, especially with the ghosts of the past lurking in the shadows. As we delve deeper, it's essential to understand the implications of these rivalries in the context of Diddy's current situation. The music industry thrives on competition, but how do rivalries shape an artist's career? Rivalries can propel an artist's career, but they can also be their undoing. For Diddy, the East Coast-West Coast rivalry positioned him as a prominent figure in hip-hop. Still, it also put a target on his back. The speculation surrounding his involvement in Tupac's murder adds another layer of risk to his already precarious situation. The speculations. Now, let's kick things off with the elephant in the room. The whispers of Diddy's alleged involvement in Tupac's murder. This isn't just a casual rumor, it's a narrative that has been swirling around for decades. Tupac's untimely death was a tragedy that shook the hip-hop world, and the speculations about Diddy's role have only intensified in recent years. Why are these speculations so damaging for Diddy? Answer: because they're tied to one of the most infamous unsolved murders in hip-hop history. When your name is linked to something as serious as murder, especially in a world where reputation is everything, it can unravel a career in an instant. Diddy has spent years building his empire, but these allegations have the potential to tear it all down. Diddy's connections to corrupt law enforcement only add fuel to the fire. Many believe that the system he was involved with has contributed to a culture of secrecy and manipulation in the music industry. It's a dangerous game when law enforcement is tied up in celebrity drama, and it raises serious questions about integrity and justice. Public perception on Reddit. So, here's the tea. Tupac and Biggie were actually friends before the East Coast-West Coast beef turned ugly. After Tupac was shot in '94, he thought Biggie set him up. This led to Tupac dissing Bad Boy and Puffy, with Suge Knight backing him up. But did Diddy actually put out a reward to snatch a death row chain just to flex in a Bad Boy video? The drama runs deep. With Diddy's recent legal troubles, is he hiding more than just his past? Karma strikes back. Fast forward to Diddy's recent arrest, and many are calling it karma. After years of alleged misconduct and a reputation that has been marred by controversy, some are saying this was bound to happen. Is Diddy getting what he deserves? For some, absolutely. The public sentiment often hinges on the idea that what goes around comes around. After years of living large and allegedly operating in a morally gray area, Diddy's arrest is seen as a culmination of his past actions catching up with him. And trust me, social media is buzzing with hot takes and opinions about this. Investigative scrutiny is the name of the game right now, especially with the involvement of Homeland Security in Diddy's case. This isn't just another celebrity hiccup. This highlights the serious nature of the allegations against him. When federal agencies start poking their noses into a case, it shows that the authorities are not playing around. Now, let's talk about how the public is reacting. Diddy's arrest has sparked mixed feelings, and former associates seem to be distancing themselves from him faster than you can say bad boy. But apart from this, why do celebrities often disappear during scandals? Because celebrity support is fickle, my friends. In the high-stakes game of fame, one wrong move can lead to a massive fallout. Diddy's recent troubles are a stark reminder that in the entertainment industry, loyalty can be a fleeting concept. Those who once stood by him are now questioning their alliances, and that's just how it goes in this cutthroat world. This public distancing underscores the impact of scandal on reputation. One moment you're on top of the world, and the next, you're facing a storm of scrutiny. The hip-hop community is watching Diddy's every move, and how he navigates this will play a crucial role in how he's perceived moving forward. Public perception and investigative scrutiny. The involvement of Homeland Security in Diddy's case signals that the allegations against him are severe. This isn't just a regular celebrity arrest, it's a full-blown investigation that showcases the intersection of celebrity and law enforcement. The public's perception can shift dramatically when federal agencies are involved, and Diddy is in the crosshairs. What does this mean for Diddy's public image? It means he's under a microscope. The spotlight is bright and every detail of his life is being scrutinized. Public perception is crucial for celebrities. It can make or break a career. Diddy will have to work extra hard to reclaim his image, especially in a climate where social media amplifies every misstep. The tides are turning, and Diddy's past may be catching up with him in ways he never anticipated. The complexities of his relationships and his checkered history are now more relevant than ever. Diddy's current predicament also raises questions about the relationships he's built over the years. How many of his associates are willing to stand by him during this storm? Will Diddy lose connections due to his legal troubles? It's highly likely. As previously mentioned, in the world of celebrity, the stakes are incredibly high. If you're associated with someone who's facing serious allegations, it could tarnish your own reputation. Many artists and producers may start to reconsider their partnerships with Diddy, fearing the potential backlash that could come from being linked to him. This situation highlights the interconnectedness of the entertainment world. The The ripples from Diddy's legal troubles could impact various artists and industry players, creating a domino effect that could change the landscape of hip-hop. As we look at the fallout from Diddy's arrest and the speculation surrounding his past, it's clear that the stakes are incredibly high. With serious charges against him and a tarnished reputation, Diddy is at a crossroads. Reddit's got no chill, and the speculation only deepens the mystery surrounding Diddy's current situation. Diddy's recent arrest has Reddit buzzing with some pretty wild takes. Here's what people are saying. Karma's the only bitch Diddy couldn't pay off, one user bluntly states, with others agreeing that he's now facing the consequences for years of questionable behavior. Another commenter didn't hold back, saying, "He made his bed, it's time to sleep." One thread suggests that Diddy might even be fleeing the country. Diddy will make the FBI's most wanted list. My guess is he's hiding out in Africa or Dubai. It's also stirring talk about past collaborators, with users speculating on how Shine and Mate must feel about all this drama. Could there be more to this story? But the question is, can he bounce back from this? It's tough to say. History has shown that many artists have faced scandals and managed to rebuild their careers, but it requires a lot of work, public relations strategy, and perhaps a touch of luck. Diddy will need to demonstrate his innocence and find a way to shift the narrative if he hopes to regain his standing in the industry. Karma may have caught up to him, but this isn't the end of the road. The next steps Diddy takes will determine his future and whether he can rise above the turmoil that currently engulfs him. As we wrap this up, Diddy's current situation serves as a potent reminder of the complexities of fame and the lasting impact of past actions. Speculations about his involvement in Tupac's murder and the shady dealings with law enforcement loom large over his head, casting a long shadow on his legacy. With his arrest being seen as karma finally catching up with him, the real question remains: what does the future hold for Diddy? Will he navigate these turbulent waters and emerge stronger? Or is this the beginning of the end for one of hip-hop's most iconic figures? And there you have it. Suge Knight's explosive comments on Diddy's legal troubles reveal just how deep the rivalry runs and the potential fallout from years of unresolved tensions. With serious charges looming and the specter of karma catching up, the hip-hop world is watching closely. Will Diddy rise from the ashes, or is this the beginning of the end for his empire? Stay tuned for more updates, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for all the latest drama in the music industry.